Hi and welcome to this week's mini C++ blogroll highlight. It is blogroll 350 today. So I've been doing this for quite some years. If you do the math in your head, it should be about 7 years now. There were some breaks in there. And if you look at Jason Turner's weekly, which also is a weekly, he is at 345, but he's trying to actually have every week a weekly. So sometimes I skip or have skipped when I was traveling this blogroll. So I guess by next year, in 2 years, we'll be like equal in numbers, or sometime he takes the lead with his weekly, which is definitely a big achievement, to do that all those years. So I'm the same kind of happy that, we've been able to provide that to you. Or I've been able to provide that to you with the blogroll, and most of the blogrolls contain his video too in the video section, which is below. But let's go into the slides to actually show you this week's blogroll highlight. It is the first article this week. There are many articles this week, but the first one is special. It is from CPP Stories, the blog from Bartek. And it is about all major C++ 17 features you should know, okay? And that is the deal in this article. You get at the start a listing of what he covers in this blog post. And it is a lot, as you see, okay? So this is a long blog article. You may not have to read it completely. Maybe it is a great thing to scroll through and see the things you knew about, or the things which are new to you, and which may or may not be available to you on your compiler. If you use the current version of a compiler, an updated version, which is like from this year, all of that should be available to you, okay? And as an example, the article starts with the feature for a language feature, new order rules for direct list initialization, and you get a link to the paper. You get to see from which compiler version this has been implemented, and a bit of a description and example of what it is about. And for every feature, basically, which is listed in the overview in the beginning and the listing. That's quite a long article. It's quite an awesome thing to do. So thank you for that. And it has been a very, very popular article because of that this week. Also because, C++ 17 is available to most of us, right? It's not like C++ 20, which still is often in implementation phase for many features, and a handful of features are, available to everyone, and then there's more features which are available if you have the newest version of your compiler. But C++ 20 is something which we are getting excited about, but C++ 17 is the widely available standard for the community. And I was like, wait a minute. Language and library features is also something I have in my survey. And I have a question about the usage of language and library features. And this is a library, the language version, which the survey has been running since the early days of 2020. And you see there's a result for people not using it, and then there's just other features which I couldn't put into the survey question because of space things. And then there are the C++ 17 features for the language, which are in the survey, which is nested namespace definitions, new attributes, fall through may be unused and notice guard, fold expressions for variadic templates, if constant expression, structured bindings, initializers in if and switch, seathead for constructors, inline variables, and has include. And from these, structured bindings is the most popular, followed by if constant expression. It's not a big surprise that it is the case. Third place is nested namespace definitions, which also is a great thing to use. And I guess many people use this without even knowing which standard it is from, if it's available in their compiler, because such a thing feels so natural, right? And yeah, the third place is the new attributes with no discard and fall through and maybe unused. I guess no discard is the one which most people use. I have a question on attributes, but I haven't included it here. And the same question, but for library features for C++ 17, I thought I also cover this. Enhance it here. Again, not using C++ 17 and other as a start. And then it's any byte, file system, mass special functions, optional, parallel algorithm, string view, try and place or insert or assign for map and unordered map, uncaught exceptions, uniform container access, and variant. So from these, not very surprising, optional takes the lead. It's very, very useful as a type, and it's good to use it in APIs. So then second place, string view, also no big surprise, very, very useful for many people using strings as a popular thing. It's almost everyone, right? Third place is file system, which also is new with C++ 17 and very, very useful for everyone. And variant, if you already used variant, you may already have variant available to you through a library, and then you might not use the standard version. So I find it a bit surprising that it is on fourth place and that it's so tied to file system. But of course, when you're able to use it in the standard, you might have the option to use it, and maybe it's available to many people which before that did not use variant because it was a model of programming they were not used to. It's also an option to explain this. And yeah, if you're interested in the survey questions, and I have those questions for all standards since C++ 11, go there and take the survey and look at the results. Which brings me back to the C++ 17 article from Bartek. This is a really great blog, and it's one of the most active blogs we have with CPP Stories, which he writes every week an article too. It's as active as Rainer Grimm's blog. And yeah, just go there, read this article, and it's a great featured article actually for this week. And then there are other articles I could highlight. I wrote an article about my conference, what you can expect for the conference, which is in a month. Maybe just, if you plan to come to Berlin, get your ticket early. That helps us with planning and helps you to have a ticket because we probably sell out at some point. More on that probably next week. I wrote a blog post about it, so if you're interested in that, read it. Conan has a lot of stuff to cover this year. They have a new release for Conan 2.0, and they blog about it, and then they have an interesting article about Clang on Windows. C-Lion has 2 articles. C++ Now has released its videos. Lee Meyer, I think the number of comparisons needed to sort a shuffled array qsort versus std sort is an interesting read. The Qt blog, again, has a lot of things to cover. Qt Creator 9 is released in beta, probably also something you want to look at. And if you're teaching, Qt has now educational licenses for students and teachers. And what I don't show here currently, I might add that to the videos in the future. Below the blogroll are videos. As I mentioned, Jason Turner's video is every weekend there because he has a weekly, and it's every week worth watching. So I include it every week. And then there's other videos. My videos, like this video, will be next week's, and other videos you find there. So if you want to read something about C++ this week, this is what I've have seen through my RSS tooling. That's what this is based on. And for everything right now, thank you for your attention, and see you next week.